Boom.
How are ya?
12 out of 10, probably.
That's pretty good. But
So,
we're episode 24.
yeah, that's double 12.
Double 12, son.
It's a good job I have a degree in mathematics that I can bring those kind of facts to you
Yeah.
right off the cuff. We didn't even rehearse that.
So, yeah. What's been going on, man?
Uh, Not much. I mean, it's good to be back, innit?
Yeah.
It was good to get 23 out there. Now it's time for 24. We're hitting the sports fans back to back, you know?
Hitting them with the content. That good.
You know, there's an old saying about London buses that you
Yeah.
wait forever for one to come, and then all of a sudden two of them come at the same time. So that's kind of like us.
Brilliant.
I know.
Uh,
You've got your half Ironman next weekend. How do you feel about it?
yeah, 8 days out, feeling pretty good. Yeah, drive out to Vancouver on the Friday, do a cheeky little 1,000 meter swim. On the 24th, 25th is pure rest. The only thing that's really stressing me out is the starting time, and it's annoying. It's at 6 a.m. Therefore, and
Mm,
I have to be in the paddock around 5:30 a.m. So just standing in my
that's well
wetsuit,
early.
really early, man. Really, and I've never done anything that early before. That's so physical. Like I should be out of the water in about 45, 50 minutes, and it's not even 7 a.m. And then I
Mm.
start my ride. It's like it's strange.
I will say, actually, that is. I always found that curious that generally in America and in Canada, races like running races and this start 7 o'clock in the morning or earlier.
Yeah,
In this country, they tend to start at 9,
yeah, I
which I
like
think is
that.
a much friendlier time.
And I don't really understand the early
Because
start
what
because even if it was 17 hours for an Ironman, then I would understand because you're leaving in the morning and you're getting done in the early night. But if a half Ironman the time cap's 8.5 hours and you haven't completed it and you're starting at 6, you're done by 2:30 p.m. So you can't really say like, oh, it's because it's too hot. One, it's Canada. It's never going to get too fucking hot, especially in May. So I don't get it, man. It could just be like at 8. Started at 8. Started at 9. It's totally
no, and
fine.
that used to that used to annoy me actually. I did a few half marathons in America, and they all started at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is it's just so silly because I mean most people finish a half marathon in about 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to have it finished by 9 o'clock. And what the worst thing is that yeah, it might start at 7, but you have to be there by 6:30,
Yeah, exactly.
and then you're looking. You wanna have time to eat something before the race and get to the race. Like you find yourself getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to do these things.
And another,
Like
like, of course,
I'd rather put up with it being a little bit warm when I finished than have to get
yeah,
up at that stupid time in the morning to do
a
these
hundred
races.
percent. The other thing that concerns me with this is like starting so early is that I'm not normally up this early. If I am going to have a coffee at 4 a.m., I'm probably going to need to poop at about 5. And if I'm in the paddock and then I got to swim with the poop in the chamber, it's going to be a bad
Now,
day.
when you do these races, you have to factor that in, right? You have to
I
think,
know.
okay, how early do I have to get up to have a coffee so that I can have a poo before the start of the race?
Yeah. And then if you're too nervous, what if you don't need to poop and you've had a coffee? Take a second one,
No,
then you get
then you have a second coffee, and then it'll come.
yeah, but then you're too nervous, and then you get in the car and you're like, uh oh. Here we go.
The biggest mistake you can make is having a poo the night before.
Why?
Because if you have a poo the night before, by the time the morning comes around, the chamber's not fully loaded. So you won't be
Okay.
able to fire one out. And it's more of a psychological thing, right? That you have to have a poo
Okay.
before a race.
Okay. I'll
Like there's
remember that.
no there's no there's no reason why you have to have a poo before a race, other
Yeah.
than you feel like you're lighter.
Yeah. This is gonna
You
get a
don't
bit.
you don't
This is gonna.
feel like you don't feel like you're gonna run a PB if you need to have a shit.
So it's quite funny. Like as I start talking about it now, a few things are starting to arise that are starting to concern me. And are you familiar with the tri suit?
Yeah, I mean I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never had
Yeah.
to wear one.
Right, because you can wear it under your wetsuit. So once you strip off your wetsuit, you just go, right? And that's what I was thinking of wearing. But I encountered an issue the other day when I went for a ride and straight into a run where I was dying for a piss. And this is getting graphic for the sports fans early. But
Oh, I think this is why they listen.
so the zip comes from like the I guess the not the Adam's apple, but I guess your collarbone to like belly button, and it's compression, right? So if you if you need to pee or potentially poop or both, you kind of got to take it off. Now the poop's the worst one, but the pee, what I've heard is that sometimes in the run or even the cycle, you'll see like pro athletes just get out their water bottle and just spray their crotch. When you see that, you're probably going to smell what they did, and they definitely did it. They did exactly what you're thinking right now. Dude, this is a thing. Men and women do this in races, long distance, all the time. And I've just become a little bit aware of this recently. And I really don't I don't want to cross that bridge. So now I'm umming and ahhing about wearing my tri suit or just going with the bibs.
Well, do people normally wear a tri-suit for Ironman distance?
Yeah.
I assume the tri-suit was designed for a normal length triathlon that is done in a couple of hours, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I might
But
have
like,
to.
of course, it makes total sense that like ultra endurance athletes, like if you're running 100-mile race, there's
Yeah.
a good chance you're gonna have to stop and have a shit at some point.
Yeah. And there's
Like,
not like
how
a
many
two
times
piece. It's
has
all connected. There's no two piece tri suit.
how many times do you think How many times do you think Killian Jornet has just taken a shit in the woods while he's out running?
It's got to be a lot, man. Too many. He's probably pooped more outdoors more than indoors.
It's probably in the hundreds, right? That he's just done like wild shits out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
dude.
never talk about that, do they?
No, but we do. We do.
We do. This is why there's a gap in the market for us, right?
Yeah.
It's talking about athletes
We're talking about the nitty gritty stuff that
doing.
people just don't want to talk about.
Yeah, we're getting down to the bottom of it, the heart of the matter.
Yeah. That's it.
You know? Like, where does Courtney Dalwater shit when she's out running?
We don't want to know, but uh,
Where we can speculate.
yeah, we can speculate. So yeah, there's that. There's those issues. But,
What's the
oh, you go.
no of the swim, bike, run? Which one are you most kind of nervous about? Which one's your weakness?
Uh, I because I've done the distance in the run many times, the distance is not the problem. I think I'm more concerned about the transition from the bike to the run. What my feet are going to feel like, what my ankles are going to
How
feel
do you
like.
mean?
Well, in training, you have these workouts called brick workouts, and you do a long distance on the bike, anywhere between 2, 3, 4 hours riding, and then you get off your bike, transition to run. But it's not a crazy run; it's like 5Ks. But what happens is that because you're in clips on the bike for 90 plus Ks, your feet have this, I guess, with the pedaling and the up and down motion of just doing that for 90 Ks, your feet turn into what they call bricks, and you have blood pooling into your feet and ankles, and this makes your feet feel incredibly numb. So when you get off the bike, you're a bit like Bambi on ice, right? Like you're a bit bow-legged or bow-footed,
Mm,
a bit heavy in the feet. So when you start running, you can't feel your feet, right? And then I noticed the other day when I did this, I couldn't keep my heart rate down. So immediately, once I got off the bike after 60 Ks, transitioned to run. Within 300 meters of running on a 5K run, my heart rate was at 160 for 5Ks. I couldn't get it down. So there's a couple of options I have.
right.
I can stay longer in transition, have a snack, jiggle my feet out, have a break from the ride, naturally bring my heart rate down and get into the run slower. Or during the run, if I can't bring my heart rate down, what I'll do is like maybe 4K run, 500-meter jog, 4K run, 500-meter jog, and kind of just try to just purposely bring it down. If it won't come down, then I'm just going to have to do like a walk section. I really don't want to do that because then the legs will start to
But
seize up.
what's success for you? Is it just finishing this thing, or
At
like,
first, it was just finishing it.
what do you consider to be a good goal?
A good goal for me, um, which isn't like taking the piss, but I do want to do between 6 and 7 hours. 6 hours would be like what that would look like would be 3 hour bike ride, 45-minute swim, and a 2 hour run with 15 minutes total time of transition. That's pretty quick. So that's where I think I'll fall in between, somewhere between 6 and 7 hours. Time cap is 8.5 hours total time.
Right.
Yeah, but it's at sea level. The highest elevation is 100 meters over 90 Ks on the bike. The run is flat. It's a lake swim, no waves. I should have this within 7 hours, but at the same time, if it breaks 7 hours, I'm not going to be mad. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's your first one, right? Like you don't know how it's going to play out, right? Like you don't know
yeah.
what are the pitfalls that you might come
Yeah.
into, right? Like you
Uh,
don't know.
other than bricks, and what else did I say? Bricks and pooping yourself would be a tire blowout. Like I haven't changed a
Yeah.
road bike tire because I haven't had a blowout. So if I get a
Mm,
blowout, am I gonna have to jump on YouTube in the race, like, and just figure this out on the fly kind of thing? Like I have the kit, but I'm like, I can't raise my hand like Armstrong and be like, "Hey, help me out," and then they just throw you a wheel. Can't be like that.
new bike.
New bike, yeah, new bike.
Yeah, Mavic aren't driving up behind you with a new bike for you, right?
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, there's a few things that worry me. Mostly the poop, but yeah.
Mm. Did you ever get under 2 hours for a half marathon?
I did. Uh, it was in the Banff marathon, the Banff half marathon, and I did it at 1:55.
When was that?
September 23rd. It was my birthday.
Last year.
Yeah,
Oh, well
a
done.
little birthday present for myself.
Well done. Do you remember we were neck and neck at one point?
Oh, in the actual marathon,
Well, I remember
in the
when
in
we
the
were
virtual
training
marathon.
for it,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
and we did a few long runs, and
Yeah,
there was a few times where, like, I mean, say if we did like 7 or 8 long runs, it was probably about 50-50 of who won
yeah.
each long run,
we
right?
we weren't out there
Like
to
there
beat
was
each other,
always
but the
there was
last
all
few Ks, yeah, we're
yeah,
getting
like
excited.
if we were doing like a 15-mile run, the
Yeah.
first 14 miles we'd just go
Shoulder to
together.
shoulder.
But there was always one person who would like push it right at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
And and yeah, it was pretty closely matched that.
I
That was fun.
man, I do I remember the marathon very well, and I remember getting to that point where we turned back on the legacy trail, and then you were like, "Fuck, I'm starting to cramp,"
Brutal.
and then it was just kind of like, "Okay, this is it. This is the furthest we've ever run. This might be survival of the fittest." And I just kind of just kept going. I'm like, I feel good. I got to keep going here because I don't know what's going to happen. And then we get to the next checkpoint, have some water. You're right with me, and then you just fucking blitz it. You got that second wind, good, good.
Well, I don't know if I got a second wind or if you just hit the wall.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance I hit the fucking wall.
Because then that last few Ks was just that was the hardest thing I've ever done. I think.
Yeah, I believe until I do this Ironman, that will still be right now the hardest thing I've done,
Because
physically and mentally.
yeah, like I think I don't know exactly how far, but in my mind it's like when we got back through the town of Banff and then back onto that road,
Yeah.
and we had to go up and down that road a couple of times to finish it.
Well, I had to go a little bit
I
further than you
think
because my watch was fucked. I did an ultra.
well,
Thanks,
yeah,
according
you
to your
did do an
watch.
ultra. Um, but that part for me was just like that. That in my mind, that feels like we were doing that for about 5 hours.
Yeah,
Just that bit. That
and
was never ending.
we
That
we
was the
kind of
very end of what I
yeah
could do.
we kind of had it mapped out as well, not just in our heads, but we kind of knew like, okay, Vermilion Lakes, then Banff Springs, down Legacy Trail, get to this point where we can get water, and then come back and then run up through Main Street and kind of go back through
Hmm.
Vermilion Lakes. But like, I don't know.
The smart thing to do would have been to just keep going towards Canmore.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know we didn't do that because there's a bit of a hill there, but
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I think that like when you look back at it, I think losing the momentum of turning back
It was a little bit
cost us
heartbreaking.
probably more. Yeah, it cost more than having to go forward and go
Yeah,
up a little bit of a hill and get to Canmore.
yeah, for sure.
But
Oh
I
well, we'll
mean, we
have to
did
do it
it, didn't
again.
we?
We have to do it again now, I guess.
Oh, I don't know about
Fuck.
that. I don't know if I've got it in me. I don't.
I think
I really don't.
here's the thing: because we did the virtual marathon and we didn't, as David Goggins says, have any souls to take. We didn't take any souls other than our own. We had no one to like look
Yeah.
at and be like, "I'm going to take your soul." And then someone runs past you and they took your soul. You're like, "Ah!" Right? We didn't have that. So I think in a race setting, that's what fires me up as well. Like I can
Yeah,
eye off someone
totally.
like shoulder to shoulder at the start of the line. I don't know you. I don't know what you're physically or mentally capable of. But if I
But you're
see you in
mortal
front of me,
enemies.
yeah, you're mortal enemies. If I see you slightly beat me, I'm I'm coming out of the cage.
Yeah,
I'm coming for
yeah.
that
There's
action.
definitely something about. I mean, even when you're training for these races, right? You always go faster in the race, right? Than
Always.
what you did training. Like, and it just kind of turns on, right? Like it just
Yeah.
you flip a switch and you can just take it further. Like you're just faster. It doesn't hurt as much as if you were running that pace in
Yeah.
training. You just there's something happens and you can suck it up and you can just go.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that,
No, we just had each other.
and that I think that hurt then, right? That didn't help us when it comes to seeing
Yeah.
this thing out. Like we were scrambling at the end. But imagine if there'd been hundreds of people cheering us on.
Yeah. Hundreds of people
Different ball
cheering
game
you
then,
on.
isn't it?
Yeah. And then you have the anxiety, the adrenaline running through you. You have all these emotions, and then people cheering for you. Like, there's no one not cheering for you at these events. There's no like Debbie Downer,
Yeah.
you know.
There's no haters.
Yeah,
So
like you can go to a
there's
golf
no one. There's
match.
no one standing on the sideline being like, "You suck."
Yeah, you can go to a PGA Masters event and someone might boo you. Like you're on the tee box or you're trying to putt and someone calls you a shit putter. You go to the three throw line and you miss a three throw and someone will boo you. Like there's going to be haters in these events, but there's never a hater in a fucking run.
No,
Because I think
you're
if you
right.
hated someone, I think if you pointed at someone and said you suck at running and just singled someone out, then you're not the one running. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
not the one putting yourself through that pain. And I'm pretty sure the other
yeah,
people turn around and be like, "You're a fucking idiot."
yeah, yeah. Let's see you out here.
Yeah, let's see you at it.
You've
Haters.
hyped me up a little bit now. I don't have any races planned at this point.
Oh yeah, but you did one
I
though.
kind of
You did one recently, right?
well, I did one in November. Not,
Oh,
I mean that's like
no,
six
not
months ago
recent.
now, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that was 10K. Um, which is actually the first time I've ever done a 10K race.
Like a competition 10K.
Yeah, even just in any way, any timed 10K race. It's the
What
first
was your
time I've
time?
ever done. 50 minutes and some seconds.
Grease lightning.
Crucially, not under 50 minutes.
Yeah, that's a huge turning point. I don't have that in my 10K.
And
I think I'm like you, 50 or 51.
yeah, I was 50. I think it was like 50 and 30 seconds or something like that.
Incredible.
Um, but it was that was a personal best for me. But
Nice.
it I'll tell you what I was gutted about was the course was quite hilly,
Hmm.
and I was feeling good that day, and I just think if I could have, it was like a long hill
If you could just flatten that
on
out, you
the.
would
It
have.
was two loops.
Yeah. So you have to
Yeah,
be
it was
close.
two loops. Um, so out of 10Ks, probably about 4 or 5Ks of it was uphill. I mean that then there was some, downhill as well, right? So you lose and then you make it up. But I just I couldn't quite make up enough to counter
Yeah.
the hill. I reckon if that day if it had been a flat course, I would have gone under 50.
Yeah.
But maybe
And
that's
that
what
was
I'll
in
try and
London?
do this year. Yeah, that was in Richmond Park.
Yeah.
But
I had to do
sure
my
I can
50
find
minute
that.
10K in Toronto. I had to go down to sea level to get it done. I can't get it up here, man. 50-minute 10K is just like just takes it out of you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's a tough pace, right? Like, you know, that's 5-minute Ks,
Yeah.
8-minute miles, right? That's like you have to be. I think you have to be pretty in decent shape to do that.
Yeah. And being in the
Like that's
mountains,
that.
like it's harder on like on oxygen, and it's not any like it's not dramatically easier at sea level. It's just there's something about it. There's just something about being in the mountain train and then hit the sea level.
I think there's a psychological thing as much as anything, right? That you just
Yeah.
you when you train at altitude and then you drop down to sea level for a race,
Yeah.
you feel a bit invincible then, right? You feel like you've been training on hard mode. And like you said, it doesn't actually necessarily make you
Yeah.
quicker,
Yeah.
but it takes a load off of the mind, doesn't it? Whereas if you're doing it the other way around
Ooh.
and you're trained at sea level and you go and race at altitude, again, I don't think that necessarily makes you much slower, but mentally, you probably psych yourself out of it a little bit.
Yeah. You were saying before, like, is there anything that's
You're ready to
scaring you,
use that
or
as an excuse.
if you're scared, or is there anything you're worried about with the triathlon? If there's anything positive that I'm very ready for with the triathlon, is the wetsuit to add buoyancy and the elevation training. These two things, I think, are great assets to have when going down to sea level to these kind of
I didn't
events.
think you'd need to add buoyancy, no?
Wow, I'm just a skinny fella. Man, I'm 150 pounds soaking wet. Last time we talked, I was above victim weight. Now I'm an ultra victim.
Listen, I'm not a good swimmer at all.
No, we found that out last
I'm
episode.
like a classic I'm like a classic example of someone who clearly learned to swim as a child but then never actioned it.
Yeah. Australia was
You
wild
know,
for
like
swimming, man. It was one of our classes. Did we talk about this?
yes, it was
It's one of our classes,
me
man.
too. We used to do swimming at school,
Yeah.
but I was just never good at, I mean, I was never really good at running either.
You can teach an old dog new
So,
tricks.
yeah, I suppose. But the thing that gets me with swimming, the thing that I think turns me off of getting into swimming is fucking boring, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Just
they have
to
come out
get
with
to the
these.
pool and stare at the bottom of the pool.
Yeah, dude, it's like the training was pretty brutal for sure, getting back into it and increasing distances. But they have made these like waterproof like headphones. Man, I don't know, dude. Everyone keeps saying about like the AirPods and Bluetooth getting into your brain and all this shit. If you're wearing Bluetooth waterproof headphones and you're swimming a kilometer or more, what the fuck, man? What if it short circuits and just buzzes your brain out or something?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Hey, don't get me wrong, right? I've stopped using headphones when I go running. I
Yeah,
just like to run.
I should have
But
done
there's
that.
plenty to look at when you're running,
Yeah, yeah, and even when
right?
the
Like you
the aquatic center has music playing, and if you're swimming, you do like 3, 4 strokes. You hear the beat, you're like, oh, cool.
catch
Head
half
under.
of the
Yeah,
song.
silence. Oh yeah, there's the song again. Silence. Like it's fucking annoying.
It's not quite the same, is it?
No.
It's not quite the same. And like, you know, I think when you're out and about running, that's a way more pleasant environment than
Swimming.
swimming pool.
Yeah.
Like indoor swimming pools suck, don't they?
It's hard, but if you're swimming in
You go
open
in
water,
there, it's loud, it's really warm, it
yeah,
smells like chlorine. Like there's nothing good about it.
no, um, like it's like swimming in open water. You can get into your head for the good reasons, control breathing, think about things. You know, you have this silence, this meditative state in open water. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like in an aquatic center where you're only catching a third or a quarter of the song, and it's warm, chlorine. Some old fellas showering naked in the corner. Like it's just strange. There's
There's
always that
always an
one
old
guy.
guy
Always.
with his dick out.
Or doing that weird towel drying motion, like between the legs, like flossing.
Yeah.
Is always one. Always.
Why are they always old as well? Why is it always an old guy?
I don't know, man. Sketchy out here, dude. I don't know.
Is that a thing that happens to you when you get old? You just get your dick out.
What else do you have to live for, I guess? Just air it out.
I don't know.
Maybe we were missing something.
Speaking of running without headphones, you know what else I've started doing? I've made a resolution that between now and October, I'm not going to wear a shirt to run ever.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I love running with no shirt on. It's so liberating.
It's a bit primal, isn't it?
It is a little bit primal. I actually think as well it makes you run quicker.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And I'll tell you why. Because when you're running with no shirt on, I think you subconsciously run faster because you're the guy running around with no shirt on.
You just need to get back home and chuck a shirt on real quick.
No, not even that. It's like you're making a spectacle
Yeah.
by not wearing a shirt. So you have to make sure you're putting on a good show.
Now, are you rocking six pack abs and like a bulletproof chest, or are you looking like Tyson Fury these days?
Probably somewhere in the middle of that.
A ripped Tyson Fury. Okay, nice.
I don't know if I'd go as far as ripped. That's a bit
Okay.
generous. Probably closer to Tyson Fury than Francis Ngannou, let's say.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Tyson Fury's fighting tonight. I know this is, going to be out after everyone else has seen the fight. But as of right now, we haven't seen the fight. So
No.
I suppose it could go one of two ways, right? So let's talk now as if Tyson Fury won the fight.
Okay.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
He looked good, didn't he, Fury? Like he's quick and he's powerful. Like he's just unbeatable, isn't he?
But he took a couple of punches on the chin and he did get knocked down in the fourth.
Yeah, I know that, but I think when you look at it overall, he definitely deserved to win that fight.
Oh, yeah.
Now let's do it as if he didn't win the fight.
Okay.
Fuck, I knew something was off, right? Tyson Fury looked nervous, didn't he? Like there was something going on with him. I think Usyk got in his head, and then he knocked him down in the fourth, and he never really looked the same after.
Yeah. Yeah. It did go to the distance, but I think Usyk just applied the pressure.
Who do you think's actually going to win this fight?
Usyk, if you couldn't tell by my first reaction, how we had to make Tyson Fury win.
Now, I've got a sneaking suspicion that Usyk is going to win as well.
Okay.
Not like okay. I think if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I'd say Fury without doubt. But I feel like something's been off about him for a little while now.
Okay, well,
Like he's
let's
acting
rewind
a
the
bit
timeline.
strange.
Rewind the timeline, right? So what do we got? Nagano was his last fight?
Yeah, and he clearly went in undercooked, right?
And then he got knocked down. That kind of surprised him. What was the one
Yeah,
before
and
that?
some say he really lost that fight.
Yep. And then what was the one before that?
Well, he's fought a couple of, let's be honest,
He didn't fight Joshua.
Bums. No, he didn't fight Joshua. He fought Dillian White. He fought
Oh,
Derek
and Wilder.
Chisora.
He fought Wilder like 3 times.
Yeah, I know that, but that's years ago now.
That's years ago. Yeah.
So like, when's the last time Tyson Fury? Like, okay, when he beat Wilder, he was amazing, right?
Yeah.
But that's a long time ago now,
Yeah, you're right.
and we haven't seen him at that level. Now he came out yesterday and said, I've been fighting bums, and they haven't brought the best out of me," which could be valid.
Right.
I suppose we'll have to see, because Usyk is serious, right? He's a serious
Serious.
competitor.
Yeah.
If the, I think I still put Fury as slight favourite.
Yeah, I have to have a look at the odds. I wouldn't mind getting on this. What
He's
time's the fight?
he's bigger. And well, I don't know what time. I don't know. It's probably around midnight here.
Oh shit! Like, oh yeah. So in late afternoon for us. Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
I don't know
But
the
like,
reach advantage on Fury. The reach advantage on Fury. Size. He's like 30 pounds heavier. He's a big dude, man. But that Ukrainian fighting
yeah, but he's
style is
fast as
fucking.
well. He's
Oh
fast. He's
yeah,
fast for
you can't
for
discredit
his
it.
size.
You can't discredit it, but that Ukrainian fighting style is very similar to that, like the Mexican style, I guess, where it's a little bit more forward motion and just applying the aggression to the opponent. I like Usyk. He's got that footwork too,
I don't.
that Eastern European
Yeah,
dance.
I don't. I just don't know what to expect. Like I could see it go either way. And this is all pointless for us to talk about, right? Because by the time this comes out, we'll know exactly what's happened.
Okay, well then you best put on your bet then. Usyk, KO, or to the distance.
Tyson Fury knockout.
What round?
Between 7 and 10.
I'll say Usyk the distance.
Then let's see.
The internet knows now. It's out there.
Listen, Tyson Fury said, "There's not a man born from his mother who can beat Tyson Fury." And he also said, "I'll beat up that dosser any day of the week and twice on a Sunday." He says, "I'll beat the two of them with one arm tied behind my back."
Yeah. He comes out with it. He's got the gift of the gab, doesn't he?
The Gypsy King.
The Gypsy King. Yeah.
We'll see, I guess.
But Usyk beat
We'll
Joshua
see.
too.
Yeah, but the question is about Joshua. Is he anywhere near as good as Tyson Fury?
No. But he also fucking laid out Ngannou, which, yes, he's MMA, but Ngannou put Fury on his butt, so it's very hard to predict the heavyweight division. It's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I think when Fury beat Wilder, he was the best by a margin at that point, I think.
Yeah.
But Usyk has shown that he's serious. And Joshua now is having a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah.
We almost need like a heavyweight boxing Royal Rumble.
Like 5 fighters just going at it.
Yeah, chuck them all in the ring.
The 4 lads
can all-
would just turn on Fury, just get him down, done. And then they would all figure it
Yeah,
out.
and then That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, speaking about heavyweights, Jake Paul has moved up a class. He's now he's pretty
I,
big.
I saw a picture of him, and he looks, let's say, big.
Soft around the midsection, we'll say.
To be kind to the guy, he's looking big. Um, what weight are they fighting at?
I don't know. I don't know if it's truly heavyweight, but like Tyson looks pretty good for 50 fucking 7, but Jake now
Yeah,
doesn't look as lean and quick. This is a
I would
tough
have
one, man.
imagined that Jake Paul's big advantage was always going to be his speed and endurance, probably, right?
Yeah,
Is he gambling that away by trying to be bigger and stronger?
I think so. I think, yeah, he's
Because I think as well, you can't just become like, I think strong is a state of mind as well, right? Like, just because he's put on muscle doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be able to punch much harder.
correct. And until you
Like,
really
Mike
harness that
Tyson's not
muscle,
the baddest puncher. Yeah, like the Mike Tyson's not the baddest puncher because he's got the most muscles, right?
no,
Like, is I don't know. This is it's going to be a tough one. I do think it's a bit sad though.
it is a little bit sad.
Like
Yeah,
it's a circus, right? And it just feels, for me, it almost feels like a step too far.
yeah. He just needs
Like,
to like the
I
fight
don't
with
see what
the fight with Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. I thought from that point onwards he would continue to fight his age, his class,
pros.
his division.
Yeah,
But then he's done the old Nate Diaz. He's done all these washed up MMA guys, and that's fine. That's entertainment. But man, it's a tricky one with Tyson, right? Maybe he needed the money. Probably needed the money. But
Tyson.
yeah, what Jake Paul don't need the money. He lives in
Yeah, I
Puerto
mean,
Rico. There's a fucking mansion and a whole bunch of Ferraris. He don't need it.
Jake Paul though. I think the sad thing is that fight fans actually wanted to see him, like, little, if you're going to talk the talk, great. Let's see you actually fight the fighters.
Yeah, that's why I think
Because
it
I
was
think
really good.
I think
Like that
I
he
think
that he
we
lost to
all
Tommy.
recognize. Yeah, but we all recognize that he's not a bad fighter.
No,
Like, he's not a joke, is he? Right? Like he lost to Tommy Fury, but it wasn't like it was. He didn't get mauled by Tommy
no,
Fury.
no.
So that was like confirmation that he wasn't that far away from, maybe being a good pro.
Yeah. And you see like his development over like I think it was like 3 years or going on 4 years now that he just like got into it. He could barely work the speed bag. Now like he's doing like his drills. Like he looks sharp when he's training. He looks athletic.
Looks like a boxer.
Looks like a boxer.
Mm, I don't know. It's weird that's on Netflix as well.
Netflix is doing some stuff, man. The
What
Tom
else are they
Brady.
doing?
Well, they just did the Tom Brady roast. That was live. First roast on Netflix, live. They did. There was another live comedy event. Rob Mullaney, I think he did a 6 episode back to back episodes, 6 episodes. Something like we're in LA. I forget the name of it, but that was live. Now they're doing the sporting event live. Tyson versus Jake Paul. They're getting after it, man. Suppose you have to with all the other streaming services that are in place, right? You have too much subscriptions to all these fucking streaming services.
You know what's crazy about the subscriptions, right? People used to have cable,
Yeah.
right? You'd pay one subscription and that would cover everything, right? Then Netflix came along and you paid your $7 or $8 a month. And that was a cool bonus. And all of a sudden, people were cancelling their cable subscriptions.
Yeah.
Now, you need to have like 7 or 8 different subscriptions so that you can catch all of the different things that you want.
Yeah.
It's no different to when there was just one company that you were paying for your cable subscription, but you're
Yeah.
just paying for lots of different ones.
Yeah. It's frustrating, right? It's frustrating for me because
Or you,
I watch so much shit. Like, I got to have a bit of Netflix for fucking Tyson and Jake Paul. Some cool
listen,
Netflix Bone movies.
the only thing you need Netflix for, the only thing you need Netflix for is Trailer Park Boys.
I agree. That's very good. You know, need a bit of Amazon
You know,
Prime because they pack that in, right, with your Prime subscription. Need a little bit of Crave for the Game of Thrones. I haven't even watched Game of Thrones. That's something for you. I've never watched Game of Thrones.
that's quite strange, right? Because I'm always kind of intrigued by people who never watched Game of Thrones because at one point that was what everyone was talking about,
Everyone.
right?
I
Like
had I
every
I had
single
no
person.
idea. I had no idea what winter is coming meant until I watched South Park and they did a knockoff episode of it and they just kept saying it and I was fucking dying.
Listen,
But
everyone in the world was watching Game of Thrones and talking about Game of Thrones, and you sat there unfazed by that,
yeah.
just saying, "Don't need to watch it."
And I thought in COVID, I was like, oh man, I have so much time up my sleeve. I might give it a crack. I might get in there. All the seasons are out. Let's give it a crack. No, I didn't.
You're a
I don't.
rare breed.
I don't know why, man. I hear it's good.
Well, I'll give you the lowdown. It starts really good
Okay.
and is really good for a while, but then eventually it it just disintegrates.
Yeah.
It just goes weird. And but like this, the first probably 3 or 4 seasons of that show is about as good as television has ever been.
Okay. I
Like
probably should give it a
we're
crack. Everyone,
talking,
everyone
we're
tells me it's good.
talking. Think about the best TV shows ever made, right?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, The Wire, like all of these shows that are like right up there.
Yeah.
Trailer Park Boys. The first few seasons of Game of Thrones were on that level, and arguably, if you like it, even better. But then they just got so lazy,
Okay.
and millions of people just kept watching it because they were so invested in this show.
Because there's books as well, right?
Yeah, but basically what happened though is the TV show caught up to the books and then went beyond the books.
Oh.
And at that point, it just kind of went shit.
You know what I fucking hate when people tell me that the books are way better than the movie or way better than the show. I fucking hate that statement. I fucking hate it.
Why?
Why? Like I said, I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I understand there's a fair bit of nudity in Game of Thrones. Would you rather read about nudity or would you rather see nudity? Straight up, dude. I know what side of the fence I'm standing on here, man. I can't stand that comment. Oh, the books are so much better. Well, because you're envisioning fucking nudity, willies in your mind, titties, booty. No, go and see it. Fucking hell. That was my rant for the day.
I think, yeah, I mean, I appreciate the honesty. I think the reason why people say books are better is because when you read a book, your imagination builds it the way you want it.
Okay.
Whereas when you watch a TV show, you're ultimately watching someone else's interpretation of a story.
Okay.
So just to play devil's advocate for a second, I think that's why people sometimes prefer books because it's your vision then.
Right. But the writer is also writing his vision and you're just reading his vision.
Yeah, but you see it how you want to see it.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Listen, you know why people say they prefer the books?
Why?
There's only one reason, actually, and it's to sound smart.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think.
It's a I'm better than you because I didn't just watch the TV show, I read the books.
Yeah, it's like you're an extra fan. It's like you're invested.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
was. It's
yeah,
like Lord of the Rings. Like if you read Lord of the Rings in the '80s, and then all of a sudden Peter Jackson's like, "Dude, I'm hitting you with the Fellowship of the Ring." You're like, "Oh man, I'm into this. I've been reading this since I was a kid." You know, like you're invested. You're a
yeah,
super fan. But then if you'd never heard of the books, and then it's like you go to the theaters, you're like, "Oh, that was cool. I wonder if there's a book. Oh, there is a book. Oh, wow. I'm probably not going to read it because I've seen it now."
hmm exactly, right? It's a classic humble brag, right?
Yeah. I like. Yeah, I
It's
can see
it's
that.
not because what you're saying is when you say I prefer the books, you're not just saying I think the books are better. What you're saying is I cared enough to read the books as well.
Yeah.
So really, if anyone ever says to you, I think the books are better, you should punch that guy in the face.
If anyone says that to me and says, "Oh yeah, the book was way better," I'm gonna write the word titty, and then I'm gonna have a visual of a titty, and I'm gonna be like, "Which do you prefer?" Because, because, dude, if you say the word, you prefer the word. I don't know what to do with you, man.
Once again, for Corey Brogan on this show, it comes down to titties.
I could have used anything really. It's just had titties on the mind. I don't know.
I think we should end it right there, to be honest. I don't think we can top that.
All right, sports fans, I got to get this race done. I'll be
Listen,
back
this
in a
one's been
few.
a lot of fun.
It's
Listen,
good.
everyone, please wish Corey good luck for his race next weekend. The next time we chat, he'll have done it and he can tell us all about it.
Oh yeah.
All right, sports fans, thank you. Good night.
Signing out.